Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Live from Fayetteville, North Carolina again at Anstead's Tobacco. Just want to say hello. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Wayne, who are our special guests today?
Well, we have everything AVO going on today. So we have George, who is actually the brand ambassador for AVO. We have, most people already know, Steve Duke down here. He's our factory rep who comes and calls on us and helps us do our events. And we have Eric from Cigar Dojo, which is kind of a special guest for us. So welcome, guys. We appreciate you coming on about us. AVO is a brand that we've carried here at Anstead's for a while. And we're looking to share some information to our customers about the brand so you know a little bit more about it. So I'm going to turn it over to George. He's the man.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having us. We're here. We're thrilled to talk all AVO. Today's show, it's going to be with a focus on AVO Heritage and AVO Ritmo. We're kind of mimicking a little bit about what Eric does with Cigar Wars, right? So it's pretty much at the end of the show, we'll pick which one after we talked and kind of tasted them. We'll kind of decide which one is best, right? So Eric does have a couple little flavor notes that will maybe trigger your decision to go towards the Ritmo side of things. But with that said, thank you very much for having us, Eric. Thank you for being here with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. You add a nice element to the show. So thank you everybody for joining. Let's get started with let's not waste any time. Let's get started with our AVO Heritage. Do you guys have your AVO Heritage on hand?
Oh, yeah.
I'm still on the Ritmo.
Still on the Ritmo. Come on, man. Put it down.
It's that fancy one, it's the fancy one there, the 30.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, that one is from 2 years ago. Yeah. All right, so let's get this going. Hey, Tom, you want to put the slide real quick?
No, I don't. No, yeah. Give me 2 seconds here. We'll start that thing off here. So there's the big presentation, right?
Yeah. Hey,
and it's rolling. Go for it.
All right. So let me see if you can skip it. There you go. Everybody that doesn't know, stop right there. Eric, my man from Cigar Dojo. Cigar Dojo is the place to be when it comes to cigar news and entertainment with cigars, with Smoke Night Live, which I've been part of a few times. And it's a great show. Like I said, thank you, Eric, for being here with us. And anybody that doesn't know Cigar Dojo, by all means, go and follow them on their Instagram handle at Cigar Dojo. And also, Eric, I believe you have your thing live, right? Your Dojo verse, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Dojoverse.com. It's our new replacement for the app. So you can check into cigars. It's kind of like it's just it's a community. Place to hang out with other cigar smokers. It's a blast. But I'm just honored to be on here. We're all the way in Colorado, and it's 1 o'clock. But I can't think of a better thing to be doing right after lunch than hanging with you guys, smoking a delicious cigar. So thank you.
All right. So my AVO Heritage. Get this going. All right. So while I do this, a little bit of AVO the man, right? And then AVO lived for 91 years, if I'm not wrong. It's right there. Yes, 91, and his life was full of adventures, and what a life he's had, right? Just a few bullet points on AVO. I could not fill a page. It would be a few pages of all his accomplishments and stuff, but just a few. AVO was born in Beirut, Lebanon. He was born to a family of musicians. His his father was a composer and conductor of an orchestra, and his mother was also a musician as well and a singer. So Avo had music in his DNA, right? And later on in life, that transferred into cigars. That's why we try to keep everything on the musical side of things with Avo, right? And then in actually Avo also a lot of another thing that he had in under his belt was that he spoke about 7 different languages, right? And I've named some of them here: Armenian, Turkish, Arabic, French, Spanish, German, Italian, Farsi, and English, right? He always said that when it came to cursing, he would love to curse in Turkish, and when it came to romance, he was a ladies' man. He would definitely love to use his romance with French. Those were the ones of his choices. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with Avo before he passed. I did, I've been with Davidoff for 8 years now, so I kind of got to hang out with him a little bit. Back in the day, it was my colleague Scott Colisero that was handling Avo, so he is full of stories with Avo. But just in 1947, he enrolled in the Juilliard Music School in New York. Right, that's where he mastered his musical skills. Then in 1971, he moved to Puerto Rico, right, and married his second wife, and that's where the whole cigar thing started. Right, he was tired of the bad construction of Cuban cigars and the quality, and then some of the flavor notes that he wanted to make his own line. Right, and then he at that point in 1980 met Hanky Kellner, and the Avo cigar brand started. Right. And it was before actually Davidoff was involved. Okay, and later on in 1995, Avo acquired Davidoff acquired Avo Cigars. But previous to that, it was launched in our Madison store around that time, right at the time of the boom, and it was just a complete hit. Right, they sold out. The quantities that were made were a little bit smaller, but they sold out completely, and that's when Dr. Schneider decided to acquire the brand, right? And then in 2002, just to talk a little bit, I skipped a few years there. We started the Avo limited edition, right? And that's our improvisation series. Okay, so every year we come out with a new blend in honor of Avo's life, right? So every blend is crafted to kind of resemble what he had in mind in terms of palette and then the life and the fusion that he had between music and the cigars, right? And then unfortunately in 2017 he passed away at age 91, and then it is up to us to keep his legacy and keep growing the brand as best as we can to to kind of make him proud. Just a little intro here.
I'm not there in person maybe, but I'm there with you in spirit.
Tonight, we're really celebrating the spirit of a man.
I think the first thing that happens is you smile when you hear the word out.
Years ago, on my first honeymoon in 1950, I was in Acapulco on my honeymoon. And one of the shop, I saw this hat that I'm wearing now, the original one. It has become my trademark. I'm very jealous of this hat because many places that I go, people say, oh, you are Avo. I know that it wasn't my nose or my eyes made them. It must have been the hat.
Avo's implementation on the tobacco industry is a dream that I would like to accomplish myself. Avo is the icon of the industry, not only in my opinion, but a lot of individuals who are in the business have the highest respect for Avo.
Again, for me, it was very important. Quality more than quantity. You are influenced by your environment, but if you want to succeed in life, look up. There is no limit to perfection.
To sit with AVO for 10 minutes is to lose yourself in a phenomenal story.
AVO offered not only cigar, he offered the personality of AVO.
All right. Big shoes to fill there. All right. So as you could see briefly on AVO's short video, this was a video that we've prepared when we had his celebration of life back in March 2017 when he passed. And, you know, I shrunk it a little bit so that people could get a feel of who AVO was as a man, right? So we basically have some very big shoes to fill when it comes to the vision that he had, and just you know, make sure that the brand is represented as the man would want it, right? And then some of the things that we did to you know, kind of pave the road for the brand to have a bright future, basically is well, actually you can we'll just have to skip that one, Tom. The next slide. I'm just talking about it. Back in 2015, we had an AVO rebrand, basically a relaunch, similar to you know, some of the outline of what Camacho went through, right? But with AVO, we did a packages rebrand. We had a box count rebrand. We you know, kind of cleaned all the channels, because unfortunately at that time AVO was being discounted online. It was just a complete, you know, a mess when it comes to the pricing and then just the reputation that AVO had out there. So we cleaned all that up, and now we you know, we it's a price protected product. So wherever you go, you know, you're not going to find AVO at a super discount somewhere. So that helps out retailers, and also keeps consumers you know, on a clear path of where the brand is, right? So that's you know, that's what we did for AVO in 2017 and 2015. But before we go into the next slide, which is the hierarchy of the brand, you know, what do you guys think of the AVO heritage so far? Eric?
So I've been smoking a lot of these lately, and I try to find like the flavors within the flavors of these cigars. And this cigar, I think a lot of people would describe, maybe has like a leathery flavor, like the taste that when you smell leather, but that's, you know, that kind of thing, like that leathery flavor and chocolate maybe. But I like to kind of dive deeper, and today I'm getting a really delicious, like roasted almond kind of flavor, and a very subtle, almost like pine tree finish, just a hint of that. And rye bread, like you get a little bit of, you know, when you have rye bread and you get the little bits of rye in there, that's that kind of that little bit of a pinchy peppery spice. Those to me are like today's flavors on this classic heritage. I mean, this is the prototypical classic cigar. Like, if you want to have a cigar that just boom, just strikes of, like it's luxurious. It would be great with a red meat of some sort. I think it would also be excellent with a Scotch, whiskey, bourbon kind of pairing. Like, this cigar goes along with those higher end dinner meals and, of course, libation.
Yeah, and then just a fact on the AVO heritage. So this is the one that out of all the AVOs would probably have the most Cubanesque flavor profile, right? Because when and I don't cover this when when you show the slide, but just something that I would like to share is the AVO with the most Cubanesque profile, because it's a one-dimensional experience, right? So, and that's why we picked this one in comparison and compare it to the AVO Synchro, right? So the AVO Heritage, it's one-dimensional, pretty much. It starts with the sweet, and then it hits the bitter in the back of your tongue. So it's very one-dimensional. That's how the flavor profile of the original Cuban cigars, and that's why this one it's very special. It's the fullest bodied out of the classic core line, and it doesn't you don't have a complex flavor profile and experience. So it's very one dimensional. Like I said, sweet, bitter in the back, and then the sides of your palate, of your tongue are pretty much left alone, right? So I'm experiencing it right now. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of bitter in the back, but just one dimensional. And once we get to the Synchro, we'll talk about how it affects different parts of your palate just because of the composition of the blend. But I think this one is just it goes well with all the pairings that you mentioned, Eric. It's a very unique cigar, right? You don't get the flavor profile on the AVO Classic, for example, or even the XO or the Domain. This one is a very the flavor profile on this one. It's a dry smoke as well. It doesn't produce a lot of smoke. The cigar, obviously, construction and everything is just hard with Davidoff quality and consistency, obviously. But yeah, it's a nice full-bodied cigar. Now,
well, George, I think it is a little more complex, and there's a lot of things in there in the background, and I think that's representative of what AVO would have liked, because music is complex. Music's not one-dimensional, so it has that Cubanesque, like he's talking about, but there's still some complexities in there, just like a well-composed piece of music.
Yeah, no, there's complexities, although the tobaccos that are in the cigar are pretty much, an idea of an experience, right? So when the master blenders had this one in mind, which actually this one has keep going on the this one comes from a very successful release that we had, but we'll get to that when we get to that one slide, and it'll explain to pretty much why AVO Heritage exists. But for now, we'll just kind of dissect the brand. Go back.
You want to go back?
Go back to the.
I'll go back. I am afraid.
There you go. All right, so this is the brand hierarchy, right? Pretty much, we start with our AVO Classic, then our AVO XO, which those are par when it comes to flavor profile, intensity in terms of what you're gonna get out of the cigar, right? Then you get the Domain, which the Domain it's actually some of the tobacco. It's from AVO's private estate, and this is the blend that AVO, if you ever met him, I did have a couple of those experiences. If you ever met him, AVO always had a unbanned cigar, usually in the shape of a Perfecto or a Belicoso. If it was a Perfecto, usually it was the Domain that came from his private estate back in Dominican Republic, and that's why that one, it's very special for us. Then you have the Heritage, right, which is the one that we're talking about. After that, we needed to create something different, right? Something more exciting for AVO. So we launched the AVO Synchro series. We started with the Nicaragua, the Fogata, and then the Ritmo, which we'll talk about it in a second. And like I was mentioning before, every year we come out with a limited edition that it's in honor of AVO's life, which is the Improv this year, the Improv 2020, which is a fantastic cigar. I don't know if you guys have any of those in stock. The AVO, the Synchro 2020.
That is a amazing cigar, George. It's a killer cigar.
Outstanding, and it's on the milder side. And I've had a lot of people compare it to the 2018 Improvisation series. That was a little bit of bigger of a cigar. The wrapper was a little bit different, but the intensity, the flavor profile, and then some of the notes that you get on that one are just exquisite. That is just such a nice blend. And obviously the packaging, it's outstanding as well. That acrylic, I don't have one here to show, but I don't know if you guys carry that one at the store. And if you don't, by all means, get some in there before we run out, because your customers will be really happy. And it's an introductory cigar to AVO, right? The flavor profile, it's mild. If you don't want to get your customers started with the classic, which is usually the route we go. You have the AVO Synchro, the Improv 2020, which is that blend is just exquisite. And it's a great gift as well. The packaging, it's outstanding. So that's what we have in terms of so you can get an idea of what the brand looks like, right? All right, let's go to the next one. And this is kind of like what I wanted to talk about in terms of why does the line heritage exist, right? So that's it's basically on the AVO Compañeros, built on the AVO Compañeros chassis, right? The brand needed a fuller body, and then that Compañero was a very bold flavor profile that had never been part of AVO's portfolio, and it did so well. Unfortunately, it was a limited edition then. So the next year, back in the day, our marketing team decided to make it a core line. So that's when the AVO heritage was built. But not only for that, it was just the name heritage is just to dedicated to the cigar industry in Dominican Republic, the man himself, the incredible workmanship and expertise that Hanky Kelly and his team have put together to create AVO cigars and keep AVO's legacy alive, right? And that's basically why that flavor profile and that one dimensional that I keep mentioning was made, because this line was made on a very successful limited edition, which is the AVO Compañeros.
It's interesting for me that the AVO Heritage has always been my favorite cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, years and years ago, the milder, the classic, but the heritage of the entire line. But we do really well with the Synchro series. So I'm anxious to hear. I'm getting a lot of knowledge myself here about the brand. So.
That's good. Yeah, so the heritage has been around. So I think the Compañero came out in 2010 or 2009, if I'm not wrong, and Heritage came out in 2010. It's been around a line that's been around for a while, just like AVO back in 2018. So now this year the brand will be 32 years old. And creating and making excellent cigars. AVO has a great reputation out there, and the man built a great portfolio when it came to blends. Right now, on the video and some of the pictures, you saw that he got to try the Nicaragua, the Synchro Nicaragua. He absolutely loved that blend. It was just so different from what he was used to, and I believe the Fogata was right when I think he had some health issues at the moment, and unfortunately, just the Ritmo, he was not in smoking terms by then, so he didn't get to try that one. But I can guarantee you, he would have been very happy with the complexity of the Ritmo, which we'll see. We'll see it now in a second. So the Heritage, it's one of my favorites. Now now that we're talking all things AVO, my new favorite, it's the AVO Classic Maduro. Right, I used to sell that one. I was in retail back in the day in Miami. I had my shop, and I remember that unfortunately I was not an appointed merchant. I couldn't carry Davidoff, but anything that Davidoff sold, I was able to get a hold of. And AVO came in the store, and it came in the I think it was $25 5-count boxes. It was the box. They were not flat. They were, kind of vertical. And the AVO Classic Maduro in the Pyramid was one of, and to this day, it's still one of my favorite blends when it comes to AVO. Such a great cigar. And obviously the Classic. The Classic is our workhorse. That's just it's just like our Camacho, Connecticut. Any time of the day with whatever you want to pair it with, that always goes well. Right, but the AVO Classic Maduro, it's such a great blend that it has not changed. So it's the same blend that we've used in the past, and it gives that change in that wrapper, that extra fermentation for 3 years, pretty much changes the dimensions and some of the flavor profiles of the cigar. Gives it a lot more sweetness and chocolate notes. It makes it a drier cigar. It's an excellent blend. So.
George, in 2018, we awarded the Leo 5 our limited edition cigar of the year. That cigar, to this day, if I was on a desert island and I had to choose one cigar to smoke for the rest of my life, that would be in the top 3. Like, I know it's limited, it's hard to get. It might be. Oh God, that thing. It's insanely good. Like, I mean, I don't know what they did with that blend or how it came to be, but there's just so much going on, so much flavor. Like, I love that flavor forward. Doesn't have to. I don't need a cigar to knock me out with a ton of nicotine. I just want flavor, and that cigar has flavor in spades. I mean, it's in my top 3 of my favorite cigars of all time.
Yeah, and then the blend we were able to the remake of it in 2018, and back when the one of the most successful samplers that AVO has had is the AVO's Greatest Hits, right? And that was not part of it because back in Dominican Republic, the master blender did not have the right blend, right? And we were not going to launch something that it didn't have the exact same blend as before, because people that smoke AVO, they've been smoking it for a long time, and then when you come out with something excellent like the AVO Leo 5, you can't trick anybody. You know what I mean? So now that this blend, I actually have a box because those we cleaned house. And those came in trays of I think it was Duke. Was it trays of 5 boxes?
Right. They were 5 20-count boxes.
5 20-count boxes. Yeah, so a unit, and then those things flew out of the warehouse. Such an excellent. And then the box was nothing fancy. It was just a wooden box with an acrylic top, basically. Factory style, more or less. Yeah.
No, it was a beautiful cigar. Of all of the limited stuff we brought back that year, which how many were 4 or 5 maybe, George?
Right, yeah.
I mean, with the LE22 was in there. I mean, with some incredible older AVO limited editions.
Yeah,
and,
we had what?
That 05 was still up there for me.
Signature. We had LE05,
was the last.
22, the Synchro Collector's Edition.
Yep.
The Improv. Wow, that was a busy year.
Yeah,
it was
the Churchill Improv first. Yeah,
yeah, and regionals. Didn't we have regionals as well? Yes,
regionals right after that. East, the first one. Yep. So it was in East first, and then we had East West mixed in next year. So
such an excellent lineup that we had that year. Unfortunately, there were some limited editions. I'm not saying that some of those blends are not going to come back, but yeah, it was an excellent year.
Cutting out.
Am I? Can you guys hear me now?
A little bit. I can hear you now.
All right, let me get closer to this thing here. All right, let's see what else we have on that press play. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, yeah. So now the next one is the blend breakdown, right? Of AVO, of the AVO heritage. Usually, AVO has been very discreet when it comes to releasing what types of tobacco are in their blends. But we kind of dig into what's the wrapper on this one. It's the same Ecuadorian special sun-grown wrapper that we used back in the AVO Compañero, like I mentioned. You have some Dominican San Vicente, and then the filler is a combination between Dominican Ligero, Dominican Seco, and Peruvian Seco, right? So that flavor combination, tobacco combination, gives you a very unique, like we mentioned before, Cubanesque flavor profile, right? The original Cubans, and that's where we plug in the heritage in the portfolio, right? All right, let's see. Hit the next one. Those are the formats that are available for AVO Heritage. I think last time, Eric, I was smoking the short belly Coso. What an excellent cigar! You clip just the tip of it. Wow, what an amazing little smoke.
You know, both of those, the short Robusto and the short Torpedo, those are excellent examples of having a small format cigar that does not taste at all like a small format cigar. If you only have 50 minutes, you're between flights or something, like that's a perfect route to go. You don't get shortchanged in flavor at all. They're made with the same quality. They burn just as good and they taste just as good.
Excellent quick smoke. Let's see what do we have. All right, and then the next one, we're right at 30 minutes. Perfect. Now we're gonna go into the Ritmo side of things. Right.
Here we go.
Let's see.
Should we fire it up?
Definitely.
Let's fire it up. There we go. Get the next one and then just stop it there. The next slide. There you go. Perfect. All right. So the AVO Synchro Ritmo. This is the third, the continuation of the Synchro series, right? This is the third one. And we started with the AVO Synchro Nicaragua, which was a tremendous hit back in 2015. Then we had the AVO Fogata, and then now the AVO Ritmo, right? So this one, we went further south into the exploration of tobaccos, and this one has 7 different blends of tobacco, right? So it's a very complex in comparison to the Heritage, which had Dominican tobacco. It did have the Ecuadorian special sun-grown wrapper, but the complexity is not as aggressive per se as it is with this one. So this one will get your palate going and trigger all the pretty much fire up all the cylinders in your palate, right? Sweetness, acidity, a little bit of bitterness in the back, and saltiness as well, just because of the combination of all the blends of all the tobaccos that are in the blend, right? So I'm gonna light this thing up. It is also, for a start, it's the first time that that we use some Honduran tobacco in this one.
I like the cigar a lot, even though I'm smoking that 30th anniversary, 30th celebration one.
The same blend. That's the same blend.
Yeah, it's essentially a packaging change on that one, Tom. But I think you hit the nail on the head with that, George, when you say it wakes your entire palate up, like it hits everything at once. Even when I've smoked a cigar before this one, whether it's a Heritage or whatever it may be, I still get that like wake up moment when I realize it's the Ritmo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I'm just with the first couple of puffs. I can taste the a little bit of saltiness and acidity. So with the Heritage, the sides of my palate were just it was just in the front and the back. Now with this one, I can already taste the difference, right? And then how it triggers some of the tobacco. It triggers different parts of your palate. And it's just incredible that now that I'm talking about it, sometimes I think about it and I taste it but I'm just keep it to myself, or I'm not gonna. But now that I'm explaining it, it's outstanding how yes, it is true that the blends it triggers certain parts, and now doing this kind of vertical tasting basically, it's just it's amazing how it right away it starts to trigger the sides of your palate. And also, I mean, if this had been a later show, I would probably be pairing it with a little scotch, a little rum, but I'm with coffee now, and it complements it very well.
I think, George, that this one, in my opinion, would pair perfectly with a mojito. It's a very approachable cigar. Like this could be one of those cigars where, you know how like when you have a new friend or somebody who wants to get into premium cigars, you're not really sure where to point them, and do they want something strong or do they want some, what could I give them where they're going to enjoy cigars? This is one of those cigars I think would be a really good option to let somebody try, because it has so much going on and the flavors are so approachable. They're fun, interesting flavors that I think anybody can enjoy, even somebody that maybe has never smoked a premium cigar.
Yeah, and it has, due to the complexity of the blend, right? It's fun. I think it would make it fun for somebody to light up one, let's just say a Robusto, packs up a little bit more of a punch, and see just the feast that your palate is having when it comes to the flavor profiles, right? And how everything comes together in a blend. It's interesting. It's funny because I would never think of this one for a beginner, right? But it definitely, if somebody that is somewhat of a novice in terms of the cigar world, right, and it has had a few cigars and maybe is a once a week type of smoker, definitely this one would be the step up, right? If you want to have somebody venture off into a new dimension or just kind of explore, pretty much rev your palate to the to the limit. I think this one would be a good one to start them up with. And we have them in different. I think the next slide. The next slide is the sizes that we have them available. You want to get that?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. See what the next slide is. It's
good. And I mentioned the Robusto, but my favorite one on this one would be the Torpedo Largo, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Such an excellent cigar, and it's long. You'll be there. You'll have fun for a good hour and 15. I smoke them in an hour, but I'm a quick smoker. And but that AVO Torpedo Largo, it's something about torpedoes, right? And the combination of it being a box press as well. That's the other thing that we started with the Synchro series. The Fogata didn't make the cut when it comes to box press, but the Synchro series, we started with the Nicaragua box press, right? That was the first one for AVO, and then the Ritmo, the continuation, had a box press format, which I personally like. Not that I dislike regular cylinder cigars, but this one, Parejos, but this box press, it's very interesting. I believe that the draw is probably maybe a little bit better than some other ones on this one. The airflow, it has the right amount of resistance to where it makes the experience like seamless. Basically, you have no effort when it comes to the draw. It burns extremely well. It self-corrects itself whenever you have a little bit of a problem on the ash. But this is an excellent cigar for presentations, and when I'm doing events and stuff like that in person. I try to do either Robusto or Toro. Those are the easiest ones to explain. But when I'm by myself, in my backyard with having a few beers or scotch, whatever, my little alone time, I would definitely pick the Torpedo Largo.
Hey, Wayne, it's not too spicy for you, is it?
No, it's not. I actually enjoy it, and I reiterate I love the fact that it's such an easy draw. It's a very relaxing cigar to smoke.
Easy draw, and sometimes when you have cigars that are a little bit harder to pull, not because it's a bad construction, but because it was intended to, they after a lot of draws, you tend to get a little bit of a headache, right? It's happened to me many times. But on this one, and box press in general, at least the ones that we produce, that being our Davidoff Nicaragua box press, which is the same factory, the same guys that roll it comes from the same factory, the AVO box press, and also our Camacho box press. There is something about the box press, and then just having them in your hand. I like to have a square, pretty much a kind of rectangular cigar in my hand. It fits well, and then the draw on the box press, it's very easy. That is one thing that I think, not because there's less tobacco in them. We don't put less tobacco in the box press cigars that we make. That's not it. It's just that the amount on the edges of the shape, it creates a better airflow. and that's why the resistance on it is just perfect to where it's extremely easy to smoke.
Yeah, I find it very enjoyable. I'm kind of a fan of most box press cigars anyway, and this one's nice because you get a nice complex flavor all across the table, and it's pretty enjoyable.
Exactly. That's let me see the next one. Okay, so yeah, so you saw the and it's the first one out of all the AVOs, in the 32 years that has 7 different blends of tobacco, types of tobacco, right? That is just a crazy amount of different tobaccos to blend in one cigar, and different percentages of it, right? Because you don't go like, the filler, you don't go 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. You go different percentages to kind of get that flavor profile that you're looking for. And on this one, I am not quite sure of the numbers of trials that there were, but I'm sure it's up in a couple dozen different trials that were sent out for approval, just to make sure that we had never played with so many blends, right? So the outcome would have it was just a little crazy. So we ended up going with this one. It was just a perfect balance of all those tobaccos and all the characteristics that all these tobaccos have put together in one cigar. And then the result is just an extremely easy cigar to smoke. It's the draw, the quality, consistency, and everything is very it's up to standards when it comes to our crop to shop philosophy, right? Everything that we control from the seed all the way to get shipped out to the retailers are all of our quality control that we have. So it's very rigorous system that we have, that it's obviously built around what Davidoff is about, right? So this is pretty much the result of all that, the commitment to making a premium cigar, and this is the result of it.
Well, it's kind of neat to get a cigar that that has all those different tobaccos, because I'm a fan of like the Camacho. I like a Honduran cigar, though you don't see as many Honduran cigars in the market, or we don't carry as many. Nicaraguan is really strong here. So it's nice to get some of the characteristics from this that you get out of a Honduran cigar as well. So
exactly, and it's just a little bit of the tobacco that's in the filler that is Honduran, right? But that still you get to taste those flavor profile notes that your mind, your palate, it's trained to recognize, and it's a perfect balance smoke. But mentioning Camacho, I mean, we've thrown some events up there with Camacho, very successful. I think one of the ones that I recall was the American Barrel Age, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
So you do pretty well. Your clientele loves Camacho. When it comes to Honduran smokes, at least that one I know we can. We're well represented over there. And whenever things get back to normal, I'd be glad to go up there and and do some events. Probably 2021 would be an easier year for us to get together in person again and throw a big party.
Hey, George, Davidoff is one of those companies that does a really good job of using a Mexican binder, and this is an example right here. I think that Mexican tobacco as the binder is a nice warm, it blends, it takes the wrapper and the fillers and kind of gives a nice warm feel for the whole cigar. I've always been a fan of cigars that have a Mexican binder.
Yeah, me too. Also, we have so it's different grade of the tobacco, right? Because it's not like we use the same strain in the Camacho Triple Maduro. All of them, just that the Triple Maduro we use it for the wrapper. This one it's binder, but the same flavor profile that you get in the Camacho Triple Maduro, it's what's in this one, just tamed basically. It's such a complex blend that I don't smoke him every day, but now that we're doing the show and I'm just kind of reminiscing what the blend is like. It's an excellent blend that is very well balanced, right? And I'm a fan of Mexican tobacco as well.
Well balanced is definitely the way to put it, and I don't know if it's the Mexican binder that does it that's going over my palate's head, but I don't think I've had a cigar with 7 different tobaccos all work so well together from start to finish. So I don't know if it's that binder or if that's the medium ground between the rest, but whatever it is, that marry is perfect in this one.
Yeah, no, this one is it's an excellent one. I think the next slide is and here's where you can kind kind of chime in a little bit, Eric. The next slide is the comparison in terms of notes, right, between the both, and we've talked a little bit about what the why Heritage exists. It was just to recap, it's built on the chassis of the AVO LE Compañeros back in 2009 that we came out with. The idea was to have this flavor profile of the original Cuban cigar when it comes to just to the experience of it, right? So I did mention that one dimension, which is front and back of your palate, right? So that was the idea of it. And now you have this AVO Ritmo, which is just a roller coaster of flavors, triggering all different parts of your palate. And you do have similarities when it comes to some of the flavor notes that you pick up out of it, right? So as you can see here, on the Heritage, you get a little bit of sweetness, chocolate, some nuttiness, creaminess, earthy, spicy coffee, wood. Now, not in that order, or some other flavors may be a little overpowering. Like on the Heritage, I personally get a little bit dominant on the spiciness and sweetness, right? Just because of that one dimension that I mentioned. So I tasted in the tip of my tongue the sweetness, and in the back that little bit of bitterness, right? But also, I'm drinking coffee, so of course there's going to be some coffee notes as well. But then you have the Ritmo, right? Which I forgot to add one flavor note there, but you have a little bit of black pepper, some spiciness, earthiness, some sweet chili, cocoa, creaminess, black coffee. And Eric, you want to?
Yeah. So it's funny. I definitely get the creamy note, but I see this as like an exotic cigar. And in 2017, this was our number 3 cigar of the year. And we described the flavors like this: a juicy sensation of citrus, dark fruit, banana, fresh grilled pepper, and Hawaiian chocolate with macadamia nuts. Now, the one that everybody freaks out about is banana, but I tell you, if you just take a small draw of this thing, a light draw of this thing, and retrohale it, you can taste just a hint of banana, and I love that flavor. This is an exotic cigar, has a lot of those kind of fruity notes, but there's definitely the cream as well that you guys put up on that board. And I like the sweet chili note that you have on the board as well. That's also an excellent descriptor of the cigar.
Yeah, no, it's now that I did a little bit of I puffed on it and retroheld just a little bit. You can't do a big puff, right, and retroheld it. But yes, you can taste a little bit of banana there. You're 100% right. It's just funny that you mentioned it. I would have never thought of it, but it is.
I think that's the only cigar that we've ever reviewed in all of the years doing this since 2012 that we've put that note in. It's the only one ever.
Yeah, in some other reviews, I've even heard like hints of steel and some other crazy ones, but that steel one stayed in my head. I'm like, why would you even taste steel? You know what I mean? And then it kind of tied up with a cigar flavor note. Crazy, but I did, and that is online. It's still on a review somewhere online that they have steel on it, but it's just crazy. I ashed it. I still had a good long ash. You were gonna say something, Duke?
No, I'm gonna turn that.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, George. I've been to the Davidoff late 90s, as well as a few years ago.
Wait, go back. Wait, you were cut off.
Okay, I've been to the Davidoff facilities twice. One back in the late 90s and one a couple of years ago. And Hanky Kilner is amazing. I've met AVO, but Hanky is incredibly knowledgeable. How did those two guys actually get together?
AVO and Hanky. Well, so AVO was he wanted, he at the beginning he started smoking Cuban cigars, right? And some of the ones that he had made were terrible when it came to the flavor profile, but mostly what bothered him the most was the construction, right? The construction, some of them didn't draw well, and AVO is it was a picky guy, right? So he just had this problem with the way the cigars were, and he would I forgot the name of the restaurant where he would right off his piano he would sell the cigars, and had he would play and then sell cigars off his piano. And then I believe his second wife, which is why I mentioned it on the slide, that he moved to Puerto Rico. She was the one that is like, hey, why don't you go and venture off and try to get him made somewhere else? And that's where he made the trip to the Dominican Republic and met Hankey. And once he tried the products, like the result of the craftsmanship of Hankey Kellner, is that AVO is like, man, this is the man that I'm gonna partner up with so he can make my cigars. So that's kind of like the fusion of both masterminds. AVO with his palette, creation, and then the flavor profiles that he wanted, and then just wanted to sync everything, the musical notes and everything. And Hankey, obviously, a mastermind when it comes to blending tobacco, probably one of the most, developed palettes in the world, along with Eladio Diaz and, some other ones out there that are just, I don't have, in a million years, have the flavor profiles and how, how he would explain. So you've talked to Hankey many times, and you've heard him talk. He serenades every time that he talks, right? He serenades you, and you're like, oh my God, yes, that is exactly what my tongue is tasting right now, right? So that's just kind of like, you add those two together, and and they created an extremely successful line, a brand, which is AVO, right? So that's pretty much what happened. So it was a quality control issue that kind of triggered AVO to go in and meet Hankey, and get the brand going.
Yeah, because it's amazing to sit down with these guys and they start describing the tobaccos when you're in the factories, and it's like, I'm glad I'm a retailer, not a cigar maker.
It's unbelievable. I was just with him back in the end of January, I think it was, right? Duke, end of January for Viaje.
Right at end of
January, yeah. Thankfully, it happened before the whole COVID thing, that I got to go down there and just seeing Hankey in his element, down at the fields, at the factory, and then being able to I mean, Hankey speaks English and very thick accent and stuff like that, but once he starts serenading you in Spanish and talking about the tobacco and all that stuff, it's just outstanding, man. And I had I took a few pictures with him and Manuel Peralta, which is our the mad scientist when it comes to our master agronomist and stuff like that. That is just that then you add Eladio Diaz to the mix, and it's just that trio right there. That combination is just outstanding. What they produce. There is a few people out there that have those palettes and that vision and that those skills to put blends together like these, and this is just AVO. I mean, Hankey has been around for a while, and he's behind some of the Davidoff's best blends as well. So, he's definitely a man that knows his tobacco.
Yeah, by all means. And I think another interesting fact that I picked up on our last trip down there is how many more people they have working with the tobacco and not as many rollers, where it's just about the opposite of a lot of companies. Tons of rollers where their manpower is all involved in the aging, the curing, processing, and it was kind of interesting.
And you saw that everything, the process is very meticulous. There is checkpoints to everything. There is monitoring of the crops. Once we're in season, there is a daily monitoring of the plants, just to make sure that everything is a par with what we need for it to be a successful crop, right? The elements are the things that are out of our control, the rain, the heat, whatever. But other than that, it's just an outstanding operation. That is just, it's great to see. We wish we had more people go down there, but it's just impossible to have everybody down there. But it's the same process that we use for AVO, that we use for Davidoff, and also it's the same process that was, kind of replicated and taken down to Honduras to produce our Camacho cigars, right? We have Manuel Batista, which is the general manager of our Honduran operation, and he was a seasoned, vet for Davidoff, in Dominican Republic for about 25 years. So he's been with the brand for a long time and knows the ins and outs of how we navigate through everything. And then he's the one that's the head of our Honduran operation right now, which obviously we are producing some extremely good cigars in our state-of-the-art factory in Honduras, which in fact you got to come down there once we can. Back in the we should definitely have a trip. You too. Duke, you would have to probably come in and.
I would be more than happy to go again.
Yeah, it was.
But really, guys, it's a brand new facility that we just put up, and I actually got to go earlier this year as well, and it's definitely worth making the trip. I've gotten to do a handful of different manufacturers trips like you guys have for sure, but the Camacho one's it's a special one.
So Eric loves it down there too.
We do trips every year with are your trips consumer trips or are they retailer trips or both?
It's both. It's a combination, right? It's a combination. We've taken media down there. We've taken consumers. We've taken retailers. A combination of the retailers. So basically, how it would probably work best is you and Tom, just hypothetically speaking, you and Tom get to invite 10 of your customers, and then that way we make the trip. So usually that's around the amount of people that we can manage, so it flows easily. About 12 people plus our staff, right? So we have an entourage of about 16 people that move around. But yeah, we've tried to do a little bit more, but it just gets a little out of hand. And then obviously at that point we can have the outcome that we want in terms of the experience, right? But I think it's very interesting. I wish we could do something like this for AVO in the Dominican Republic. But we'll see what the future has ahead of us. For now, there is Viaje al Origen. That is what what we're doing. So
hey, I'd like to wrap as this has been probably one of the most informative.
We have some background.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let our customers know that we're running some really awesome deals this month on AVO cigars. We have a promotion going where we're giving away lighters and a really nice, I believe it's an electric guitar.
Fender
guitar. Awesome. So we have a buy 10 cigars. You get a raffle ticket and a lighter. If you buy 20 cigars, a box mixer match where you can get up one brand. We're giving away a cigar cutter, and you get 3 raffle tickets for the Fender guitar. And we'll have that guitar in the shop here probably shortly on display, so you can see it. It's pretty impressive. It's all branded AVO, so it would definitely be a beautiful thing to have in your collection.
Beautiful purchase, that one, the guitar. It's I usually try to keep at least one of the things that we make, right? But those, we just didn't make that many. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep one of those. But whoever gets to take that home, it's a very nice piece. It's a Fender guitar. It's very, very, very nice.
Yeah. So stop by the store. You can pick up some Heritage, some Ritmo, so you can do these side-by-side flavor profile testing yourself, and you'll see how amazing both sticks are and all these complex flavors that are in them. And you'll also get to see this amazing Fender guitar, and you could be taking music lessons soon.
Yeah. And this show will live on on your Facebook page, right? So people can go back and watch
Absolutely.
it and rewatch it and try to pair some of the try to find the bananas in the Ritmo.
And we have a banana tree here, so it fits right in.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Weren't you growing some tobacco there at some point, Wayne?
Yeah, there's tobacco growing right now, and there's also a banana tree right next to those. So we've got our own special.
That's how it happens, Tom. That's how
the
that.
banana flavor.
Exactly.
So all you gotta do is
know
stop
we've been
by.
sourcing from Anstead's.
Yeah.
Just stop by, see the banana tree, the tobacco, come inside, get some Ritmo, some Heritage, get some raffle tickets. The more raffle tickets you get, the better your chances are of becoming a legendary rock star or jazz musician. It's been known to happen here. Well, we got like 15 seconds. I don't know if Facebook is going to kick us off at the hour. We're going to find out here. But Steve, Duke, what's you got a favorite amongst those Ritmo?
Yeah, what's the outcome here?
As much as I love the Ritmo, the Heritage is a go-to for me. It's a when I don't know what I want, it hits every time. I love it.
I agree. I'm
with Ritmo. For some reason, I'm going with the Ritmo. Eric?
Yeah, the funny thing is, the last time we did this, I picked the Ritmo hands down, but today, for whatever reason, you just don't know why, but the Heritage just hit me in just the right way. There was a nice sort of chunky flavor to the tobacco that really stuck to my ribs, and so today I'm going with the Heritage.
Wow, look at that!
I know. I'm kind of surprised. I'm normally a Ritmo guy.
Really well for you today.
Yeah.
Well, the Heritage is a great way to start your day, and then when you want to relax and enjoy your moment with a nice beverage and just think about things or listen to some great music, the Ritmo's the place to be.
Yeah. Speaking of, just quickly, we do have a something in the works that has to do with music compilation for AVO that we'll be releasing very soon. So when the time comes, you'll be able to grab on your grab your Ritmo and listen to some AVO an AVO playlist basically that we're putting together with some music for AVO. So that's the idea. You hit the nail right in the head. You grab your cigar, you chill, you listen to music. So we're working on something like that to try to complement that part of the experience. So
will it be released on vinyl?
Nah, that would be great. We've done the turntables in the past, and they've done really well. That's another one of the things that I just couldn't keep. We didn't make that many, but yeah. So that's we've done that before. But hey, man, might as well. I don't know what the future has in store for us. Maybe we come out with an AVO vinyl edition or something. I don't know, but for now, I'm going with the Ritmo, and I think this was a pretty good show. I want to thank you guys for having us. You guys went over your deals, and you guys gonna see Duke in the store at some point whenever he goes down there. Hopefully, the winner of the guitar, the Fender guitar, gets to post a couple pictures. That way we can share them on social. You can find us on social media, on Facebook, AVO Cigars, and then on Instagram, the handle is AVO Cigar. Any questions about this show or anything, by all means, reach out. I'm the one that handles the account, so you'll be talking to me. Any questions, anything that has to do with AVO, by all means, reach out. We are available almost 24/7. So, with that in mind, I think we've had a great run here today, and thank you, Eric, right, for joining us. Wayne, Tom, Duke, everybody, thank you. It was pretty interesting, and I think we were able to put a good thing together between these two.
Appreciate it, boys. This is great. You guys do it the right way, and everybody. We almost all picked different. I think last time it was everybody picked Heritage, but me. But this time was a good variety.
Yeah, it's a good mix.
Well, thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
All right, you guys have a fantastic week and weekend.
All righty, boys.
All right.
Thank you very much
for watching. And we'll be back shortly.
All righty. Take care, guys.